down here. Beautiful Myrtle Beach look like today. Welcome to another hour worldwide professional wrestling. We got a great hour of exciting wrestling in store for you. With me again today, my co-host, the NWA TV television champion, neatly attired in a very dapper street suit, is Tully Blanchard. And in the ring, we got great action, tag team action being back with Brian ADIAS and Wahoo McDaniels. And Tully Blanchard and Brian ADIAS will get a lot of pointers from Wahoo McDaniels in that ring.
Well, that's right, Johnny, and you know, I mean, it's always a pleasure to be on here, and I know the fans at home like to have me out here with you because you're the dean of professional wrestling, but there's a new generation coming with you, and I've got to keep you up to date on everything that's happening.
Well, one of those new generation Tully spoke of, Brian ADIAS, is now teaming with Wahoo McDaniels. They should make a great team, and it'll really put the finishing touches on a great athlete in Brian ADIAS.
Well, I tell you what, it takes every athlete, you have to go through a certain amount of tutorship and whatever, and if Wahoo McDaniels pulls you underneath your wing, I tell you what, you can't go much better than that to gain the knowledge it takes to become a true champion like myself in professional wrestling.
And ladies and gentlemen, more news. We have a brand new United States heavyweight champion. We're going to hear from him later on the program. We have girl wrestlers, as we promised you last week. Exotic 80 in the street will be here. The Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, Rufus R. Freight Train Jones, Don KERNODLE, Ivan Koloff, and a new Mid-Atlantic champion in Angelo MOSCA Jr. And right here, the man from Arlington, Texas, learned his lessons well and could be the cream of the crop of the new breed, as Tully Blanchard has referred to, with a little tutelage from the great chief, Wahoo McDaniels, and should make a potent team for the World Tag Team Champions to have to look at.
That's right. You know, the Briscoes brothers hold that belt. Tell you what, there's a lot of great teams around right now. You got the Youngblood brothers, you got Wahoo, you got an ADIAS, you've got KERNODLE and Koloff, which you just mentioned those two names with Gary Hart as their manager. I tell you what, they're an awesome force, and the Briscoe brothers, they better train just as hard as they always have to keep that gold around their waist.
Well, there's certainly a lot of competition in store, worldwide area, NWA, the Major League of Professional Wrestling, for the Briscoe brothers or anyone else that has a belt. And that includes our TV champion who's with me here, Tully Blanchard. Here's Wahoo with Bobby Bass up. Beautiful reverse suplex. This could be a fall right here. Oh, I think Bass got one shoulder up just in the nick of time.
Tell you what, when you've got the greatest stars in professional wrestling, you've also got the greatest people that want to be stars, people that try the hardest to become stars. And like right there, a normal person would have been pinned 1, 2, 3. Bobby Bass got the shoulder up.
Real quickly before this match comes to conclusion, what about Myrtle Beach?
I tell you what, I love Myrtle Beach. I was out there today and soaking up some of that sun, playing a little football with some of the girls.
Who else I saw was out there? It's going to be on our program later too. The world heavyweight champion, Ric Flair.
Yeah, Ric Flair, he's decided to appear on television since he doesn't like me being the most viewed champion in the world today.
Yes, I understand you've been on a lot of TV programs recently.
I am the most viewed professional wrestler in wrestling today. More people see.
By Brian ADIAS.
Good hip toss.
Chief Wahoo McDaniels in that ring, hard chop, and he tags ADIAS back, and ADIAS with Bobby Bass up in the airplane spin.
I tell you what, 1, 2, 3, Johnny Weaver, here you go, a good Texan. 2 Texans right there, Wahoo McDaniels, Brian ADIAS. They come up with the 1, 2, 3.
Oh my gosh, nobody told me that. And with me right here, we spoke earlier, fans, of a new Atlantic, new second time round, but it's back on your waist, Junior.
I'm glad it's there, John, because a lot's taken place since the first time. Ivan Koloff, now calling himself honorary American. It's hit me personally. It's hit the people personally, because this belt has to represent a true American, and it's something that I set in my mind and in my heart and with the people to put it back on a true American. and hopefully I can represent it as one. And I hope the people are still with me all the way, and I can hold on to the belt as an American. My father told me, you know, success is measured in many ways, and along with him, I think this is the first successful thing, well, second successful thing for me, and I hope it's many, many more things to come with my father teaching me, of course, and I'm doing very well.
You certainly are. Congratulations to you. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back right after this.
To be here, Johnny, absolutely delighted. As I was saying, the talent in the United States at the moment is absolutely fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited about it. But the only thing is, they've got one very, very bad drawback as far as I'm concerned. The women here are so pushy, you know? They keep asking me out, like the dates and all that kind of...
Hey, don't tell it! Listen, the boogeyman feels good. Hey, is anybody here seen a pretty little girl that needs a good night? Kiss her. Like the Boogie Woogie Man came in here out of a hurry.
In there. That's the sort of things that I'm... Don't you, please? Don't you laugh? Why that silly smile off your face? Don't you dare smile. I caught you smiling. That's the sort of things that happen in New York. I've heard about it, but this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. As far as I'm concerned, all those blue bleach, fat, waddling American women that hang around with him, and the likes of him and Dusty Rhodes and all those people, they would be far better off getting themselves a ticket and going off to India, because in India, cows are worship. I tell you what, if it hadn't been for the fact I was afraid of messing up my beautiful gown, I would have smashed him to the floor and I'd have kicked every one of his teeth out. How dare he?
Well, what a turn of events for the exotic Adrian Street. Jimmy, the Boogie Woogie Man, Valiant, and Miss Linda down in the ring. Holly?
I tell you what, we got the big cat Ernie Ladd in there, Johnny Weaver, and when the big cat is in there, I tell you what, all his great athletic abilities come forward, and Vinnie Valentino, although he's an up-and-coming young lion, as David Crockett likes to call all the young professional wrestlers, you know, I tell you what, he's got his hands cut out with him if he can take out the big cat Ernie Ladd. But you know, you got to always think about, when you got Ernie Ladd, you've got to think back to the Rufus or Freight Train Jones. Here, take $1,000 and leave me. I still can't.
Tony Blanchard, Rufus or Freight Train Jones, done put up that $1,000 in good faith, and I don't think the way that
good faith or not, you know, I mean, that's to hand someone $1,000. If it would have been me. Well, now look who's come down there to ringside.
Oh, he's going to do a little managing right now. He's going to give Vinnie Valentino a few pointers.
You know, I tell you,
he's done it once before. I saw this happen once before. He did it with Brickhouse Brown, if I remember correctly.
And Brickhouse Brown came away with the win, too. I remember that.
Well, here is a big cat lad is certainly upset about the fact that Rufus is back down there at ringside.
Well, I tell you what, Johnny, if Ernie Big Cat Ladd gets fooled twice by the same maneuver of Freight Train coming down there and managing, he deserves to get beat.
Well, he has a fine athlete in there against him, Vinnie Valentino. Vinnie shedded the boots of wrestling and now wrestles barefooted, and he's really coming along.
Well, it aids to his quickness and his agility, but right here, you've got a much bigger, much heavier man. The quickness and speed is the only way to neutralize it.
Big Ernie Ladd.
That's over 7 feet in the air when he raises those big arms up.
Former professional football player, and there's Vinnie. Out in another word of confidence, at least, from Rufus R. Freight Train Jones.
Why doesn't Rufus get in and do the job himself, Johnny Weaver?
Rufus got in there in good faith with $1,000, and you know what happened.
Well, there's no $1,000. I'd jump in the ring if I was him.
The big man went high in the air down to the mat. Knee drop by Vinnie Valentino. We could have a victory. Valentino on.
You know, Johnny, let me ask you a question. You know, we're watching television. The people can see what's going on. Please don't commentate like radio. Rufus looks like a cheerleader right there.
Well, he's certainly given Vinnie Valentino a lot of confidence. And he has done this once before. They came out for a victory over the Big Cat. Don't forget, we got girl wrestlers coming up later in the program. Penny Mitchell and LELANI Kai.
Vinnie fighting back really good right here. I tell you what, every time you get in the ring, you...
Oh, what a move! That's surprising. Beautiful drop kick by Vinnie Valentino. He listened to Rufus very well.
Well, it's hard to get up 7 feet in the air.
That's a long way to get up there, I guarantee you. Oh, and Vinnie Valentino scooped over the top rope on the floor. Referee Tommy Young out on the floor. He could be calling a disqualification, Tully Blanchard.
Well, if somebody took my $1,000, I'd be doing more than sending Vinnie Valentino after him. I think if I was the freight train, I'd be out there taking care of my own business.
There you saw a fine head scissors by Vinnie Valentino. Seen a fine head scissors by Vinnie Valentino. Well, we just saw Rufus R. Freight Train Jones, and we're going to see exotic Adrian Street coming up in a moment. They called a disqualification on that match. However, I'm sure the Rufus R. Freight Train Jones has not gotten his $1,000 worth of consideration out of the Big Cat Ernie Ladd as yet. And one thing for sure, when he gets Ernie Ladd, and when Ernie Ladd does step in the ring with him, we're going to see more than a $1,000 match. And here you see, again, let's see.
You know, Johnny, I tell you what, it's great right here. Rufus is acting like a great big man. You know, this reminds me of the fights when I was in college. You know, hold me back, hold me back. Don't let me get him. Don't let me get him. You know, that's what Rufus looks like right there.
There's Rufus center out on the apron. And now we got Rufus R. Freight Train Jones and Ernie Ladd going at it. One.
Well, I tell you what, Johnny Weaver, at least you got to hand Rufus R. Freight Train Jones one thing. He went in and finally did take care of business after the Big Cat had already wrestled one man and was tired already. Great job, Rufus R.
All right, we see Ernie Ladd. He is deciding whether to get back in there. Referee Tommy Young trying to restrain him. 6'11", 320 pounds.
This is what the action is, Johnny Weaver. You never know what's going to happen on Worldwide Wrestling.
Rufus R. Freight Train Jones. Whoa, what action. What action we had right there. Rufus R. Freight Train Jones, Ernie Ladd. And here you have the exotic Adrian Street making his entrance into our ring. Tully Blanchard, I like the way that he gets to the ring. He makes Miss Linda get on all fours and steps right in the middle of her back.
Well, I tell you what, Johnny Weaver, that may be your generation, but my generation's got much better things to do with women than step on their backs.
I agree 100%.
But I tell you what, all of his garb and all this stuff, it's a great thing. But I tell you what, you get right down to the nitty-gritty. Adrian Street is an excellent wrestler.
Very tough and rugged individual, as we have seen in several matches of his now. Very colorful individual, but when the bell rings, he is a rough and rugged character. And the bell has rung. Miss Linda out of the ring with his robe, and Mark Fleming has a task of trying to defeat exotic Adrian Street.
You know, I tell you what, Johnny Weaver, Jimmy Valiant coming out here for the big I don't know what you call it, the good night kiss he wanted to say. I think that upset Adrian Street just a little bit. Look at, he's opening up with all guns right at the opening bell. And Mark Fleming better do something, or this might be short-lived.
Well, he certainly opened up that attack, and he has already in the match been a different Adrian Street than we've seen in the past, as he has really opened up the attack.
Well, I tell you what, Adrian Street really has, but you know the thing that you always got to look forward to in the future, Thanksgiving, Starrcade 84.
Ooh, and I know all the fans will look forward to that and witness Starrcade 83, and 84 will be upon us before you know it, so get your tickets early.
Well, I tell you what, to beat the rush and assure themselves a real good prime seating, they're going to have to start getting them now. But I tell you, Johnny, let me tell you what, one thing here, since we've been talking about it, and I tell you what, I understand that like the first 2 or 3 rows of Starrcade are already sold. But I tell you, getting back to Angelo Mosca Jr., one thing, you know, he comes out here and wants to brag about how his father taught him this. If you don't recall, not long ago, Dory Funk Jr. was the man that taught Angelo Mosca Jr. how to become a champion.
That is exactly right. But isn't it a great accomplishment for Angelo Mosca Jr. to beat Ivan Koloff?
Oh, this could be a pin right here.
There's Miss Linda watching Adrian Street come to a victory.
That's some kind of European move right there, and that's the thing it takes. You've got to understand that European style.
He stays right on him, and Miss Linda's down there. They're painting it with lipstick. They're putting lipstick all over Mark Fleming's face. The match is already over, Tully Blanchard.
I don't, you're speaking not just much better than me. I mean, lipstick, I don't see how this quite interfered. This,
doesn't it humiliate his opponent?
I've never had lipstick on. I don't know if it humiliated me or not.
Well, he certainly got a face full of lipstick from... Oh, holy cow, here comes the Boogie Woogie Man is in the ring, and he is putting... Oh, no, he can't hit Miss Linda. Boogie can't... Street got him from behind. And now Miss Linda down with the lipstick on Jimmy Valiant. The lipstick on Jimmy Valiant.
I tell you what, I think Jimmy Valiant would be able to answer the question about humiliation much better than I could after your futile attempt to insult me.
Out of the ring goes the exotic Adrian Street. And the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant.
Let's take time out for these commercial messages about the worldwide wrestling events coming up in your area. Optimus Park, Roxborough, North Carolina. Big card Thursday, May the 17th. The time is 8:15. A big card, James Wood High School, Ridge Campus, Winchester, Virginia. Saturday, May 12th, 8:15, with the Outlaw, Dick Slater, Johnny Weaver, Jay and Mark Youngblood, many other top stars. An action-packed card coming to South Hill, Virginia. Parkview High School Gym, Monday, May the 7th at 8:15. Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, Don, KERNODLE, Ivan Koloff, Brian Adidas, Rufus R., Freight Train Jones, Angelo Mosca Jr. and Sr., and many other top stars. There's a super spectacular 8-match card coming to the Roanoke Civic Center, Sunday, May the 13th, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Don KERNODLE takes on Mark Youngblood. The Assassin with Paul Jones against Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant. For the TV title, Tully Blanchard defends against the Junkyard Dog. The exotic Adrian Street with Miss Linda. He'll be there against the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And then it's $1,000 against $1,000. Big Cat, Ernie Ladd against Rufus R. Freight Train Jones. You have the Junkyard Dog, Tully Blanchard.
You know, how silly can a human being actually be on television? You know, Junkyard Dog, I don't want people playing in my yard. I don't want people coming to my house. Well, who in the world would want to come to your house? You know, Junkyard Dog, you embarrassed me on television, ripped up a $500 sport coat, beat up a friend of mine, did everything you could do to humiliate both of us. But I tell you what, Junkyard Dog, Roanoke, you cannot take the NWA TV championship.
Ernie Ladd against Rufus R. Freight Train Jones, $1,000 against $1,000.
Yeah, who would want to go to that greasy Junkyard Dog's house and see all that filth all over the place? You know, I know what it's like in the ghettos, Junkyard Dog. You're the same thing, Rufus R. Joe. You crowds up out of the ghettos. You fool around and sold hubcaps and tin cans and got $1,000. Well, Rufus, you can go right back to the ghettos again
Take yourself about a month, get me another $1,000. I'll beat all the black off you and fleece your pockets once again.
Remember, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the Roanoke Civic Center. Exotic Adrian Street will take on the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
He seems to forget what it's all about. He's supposed to come here to wrestle with me and not to kidnap Miss Linda. How grotesque. Can you imagine being kidnapped? How would you like to be kidnapped by him and taken round and sort of shown what a real man can do? Can you imagine that?
No, I can't.
How would you like that? I'd say, Mummy would be pleased. Can you imagine taking that home to Mummy? I wonder if he's house trained. I'll tell you something, Dusty Rhodes. We'd saddle you up and ride you out. And I've got more manhood in my little fingers than you've got in your 300-pound body.
We have the ladies in the ring right now. And Tully, that's LELANI Kai and Penny Mitchell.
Well, I tell you what, Johnny, these are two of the finest women wrestlers in the world today, and this should be very entertaining for our fans at home.
And as we promised, the lady wrestlers are here. LELANI Kai in the light blue outfit. Penny Mitchell, the tall lady, has backed against the ropes right now. Tully Blanchard, the ladies in action.
Well, I tell you what, you can see right there, Johnny, some of the lady wrestlers, they ask no quarter, give no quarter right there. As LELANI Kai, she opened up with all her guns and got Penny Mitchell down and going for that pin.
That's exactly right, and like the midget wrestlers we had last week, these are a lot of action with the ladies.
And I tell you what, look at that. Look, just like the men, I tell you what, women wrestlers, they do not need to punch. They go out there, they should learn their trade just like the men have to do, and learn the wrestling, learn the maneuvers, go for the pinfalls. There's no need for women to be out there pulling hair and punching. I tell you what, I don't have to pull hair and punch, and the women shouldn't have to do it. Other professional wrestlers shouldn't have to do it either.
And as you saw, Tully Blanchard there, neatly attired in his fine street suit and not wrestling on the program. Our NWA TV champion here with us. And here, oh, beautiful move by LELANI Kai. She may have had a handful of hair right there. And Penny Mitchell, for the first time, looks like someone in this match is finally in trouble.
Well, I tell you what, Johnny Weaver, I don't know if that was some kind of a subtle dig at Tully Blanchard about why I'm dressed the way I am. I dress this way because I dress fine, because I have quality and I have breeding. Nice try, Johnny. But I'll tell you what, I don't have to wrestle on television because I'm the champion. I'm already proven. I have the most prestigious belt in the world today. I am viewed by more people in the world today, and you get paid by Worldwide Wrestling to announce to the best of your ability. And I'm out here to correct your mistakes and do things like that, Johnny Weaver, because sometimes I know you need the help.
Are you sure it's out here to correct my mistakes, or you just don't have to put that TV belt up in the ring against all the top talent that's around her, or any of the top talent?
Well, I tell you what, Johnny Weaver, I put that belt on the line to as many people as you want. I'll put the championship on the line against Ric Flair. I'll put the championship belt up against Ric Flair. I'll put it up against Dick Slater. I'll put it up against Wahoo McDaniels, Ricky Steamboat. I do not care because I am the greatest in the world today. I am viewed by more people every week on television than Ric Flair is in a month, and that's why Ric Flair wants to be on television today, is so that he can get the exposure that I do. Johnny Weaver, if you don't like that, you know, I tell you what, I do have some pull around here with that NWA belt, and you can probably be replaced.
Well, I just want to ask you one thing. There's been some great TV champions in the past that sell that belt.
And Ric Flair is one of them.
And they all put it up.
Ricky Steamboat is one of them, too.
They all put it up for the first 15 minutes of the match, not 10 minutes like you do.
I tell you what, I'll put it up in 6 minutes because that's all it took for me to win it, is 6 minutes. Now, if you want to get back to commentating, why don't you just keep...
I think we should, because there's a time and place for everything, Tully Blanchard. I do not need to get in a war of insults or words with you, especially here is not the place. As the ladies are in action, and Penny Mitchell on the outside. Flying move over the top. And she has a win right here. A fine move by Penny Mitchell from the outside. And she has a win over LELANI Kai. Here you see it again. In slow motion earlier in the match, and going on to win the match was Penny Mitchell. We've had a lot of action up until this point. We got a lot more to come. Don't forget, we're going to see the Boogie Woogie Man in action later on. We're going to see Rufus R. Freight Train Jones. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a man with me now needs no introduction. Rick, welcome to Worldwide Wrestling and Myrtle Beach.
Well, thank you very much, John. And I don't need to tell the fans out there what a pleasure it is for me to return to the Carolinas. I make my home now in Charlotte. I've traveled the world wide. I've been to Honolulu, St. Thomas, San Juan. I've been to every great beach in the world. And take it from Ric Flair, a man that is a connoisseur of good times and beautiful women. There's no place in the world, woo, like Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I'm glad to be here. Some of the greatest wrestling fans in the world come from this part of the country, and anytime I can get in my car and drive down that main strip of Myrtle Beach, I'm having one of the greatest times of my life. Now, Ricky Steamboat, the new U.S. heavyweight champion. He beat Dick Slater, who was a great champion. Steamboat and I have been round and round. Let's face it, the man that holds the U.S. Heavyweight Championship is the #1 contender anywhere in the world for what I have right here, the World Heavyweight Championship. Steamboat's a great athlete, a tremendous competitor. I've never forgotten the fact that Steamboat beat me for the U.S. Heavyweight Championship on one occasion. He also beat me for the television championship. But Steamboat, we've wrestled once. We wrestled to an hour draw. I'm sure Jim Crockett's trying to put it together again. You're a great athlete, but I feel I'm a pretty good champion. I'll be ready for you whenever the match is signed. Now, Dick Slater, you're another situation. You've run me down. You've run the NWA down. You've run down professional wrestling in general. You owe me some dues. You owe all of professional wrestling some dues. So, Slater, sooner or later, I'm going to settle it. Take it from me, brother. What comes out of my mouth, woo, is as good as gold, Daddy. Put it in the bank. I'm going to take you downtown, brother, and when I do, you're going to grow up and be a man and quit running your mouth and calling yourself something you're not, and that's the World Heavyweight Champion. Let me say one thing about Tully Blanchard, John. You know, it's always a pleasure to come out here and listen to your commentary. I have to understand how it feels to be handicapped, to have a man standing out here that possesses the television championship, another one of the most prestigious trophies in our sport. He won't defend it. It's easy for him to stand out here and degrade every athlete that gets in that ring. Tully Blanchard, this is the World Heavyweight Championship. Anytime you want to put your belt on the line against this, you'll find me fair, Daddy. You know, Blanchard, you're from Texas, and I'm going to tell you what the girls from Texas say about Ric Flair. He never bought a pair of cowboy boots. He never wore a pair of jeans. Never had a cowboy shirt, never had a cowboy hat. But all the girls in Texas call Ric Flair the all-around cowboy, Daddy. Woo!
And there you have it for the World Heavyweight Champion. We'll be back right after this. I've seen him in several different kind of situations. Some he was looking great, some he was hurting. I've never seen you like this, Paul.
So let me tell you something, John. You're looking at a winner, not a loser. I had a choice whether or not to show up here tonight and face the embarrassment. But I'm here tonight to face the embarrassment because let me tell you something. Valiant, you got the mask. And you tricked me into a fence match, which I suffered an injury that I never know will heal as of right now. But I want to tell you something, Valiant. I will be in the arena, whether I have to be wheeled up in a wheelchair or laid flat in a bed. I will be there because I know what
Angelo Mosca Sr.
Paul, I'm a man of compassion. There's one thing I hate to see is a fellow athlete that's hurt. I do hold a little compassion in my heart. But I want you to hear this, Paul Jones. You and your assassin. Why don't you challenge a man like me? When you talk about the ADIASes, the young fellas in our business, well, I have a young fella in my business named Angelo Mosca Jr. And what you and the assassin did to Sam Houston and Fleming is uncalled for. But just remember this, Paul Jones, every dog has its day.
Angelo, if I could put on my tights right now, buddy.
Oh! Paul Jones.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're going to be working in the region of the chest area, the pectoral muscles. As you noticed, the first 2 weeks of this program, we worked with the bench press and also the incline press, both of them a pressing movement. This particular exercise that Susan is going to demonstrate to you is going to be the pec deck. Now, this particular exercise works the outer region of the pectoral muscle. It's a stretching exercise in which you start from the outside, bringing it all the way around to the front. Now, what we're doing in this particular exercise is stretching out the pectoral muscle, bringing it all the way around to the front and contracting it. A lot of the ladies in the area have seen a pec deck to be very, very beneficial to them. Thank you. We'll see you next week. It gives me great pleasure to stand before all my wrestling fans as the new United States Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. It's been a long, hard road. After several months of being out of professional wrestling, Dick Slater, I know you thought that I had lost my edge. But when something has been born into you, born into the blood of you, it's just like falling off a bicycle or a horse. You just climb right back on and get it. That eve that you lost the belt, you thought I wasn't ready. You took me a little too lightly. I know right now in your mind you are training more harder than ever. You're probably embarrassed that somebody that's been out of wrestling for several months comes right back, bounces right back, and captures this from you, the United States Heavyweight Championship. All the fans that have been behind me over the years have seen me in tag team combination and have seen me accomplish what I wanted to do. Now the United States Heavyweight Championship. Next, the World Heavyweight Championship.
Tell you what, Johnny, wasn't that some great words of wisdom from the new U.S. heavyweight champion, Ricky Steamboat?
It's certainly always a pleasure to hear from Steamboat. It's good to see him back in action. Also, great for him to send us in that segment, which we will continue having on summer workouts, summer exercise.
Right. We have the new Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion in the ring, Angelo Mosca Jr., and it surprises me right here, Angelo Mosca Sr. Every time you turn around and see him, he's down on the mat. Somebody else has beat him up and left him laying.
Now, wait a minute, Tolly, that was a sneak attack. Who would suspect? I thought Jones was really hurt.
A sneak attack, Johnny Weaver. You show your bias right there. He came out, interrupted Paul Jones's interview, because it took a lot for Paul Jones to come out here and say this. But I'll tell you what, one thing right there, Ric Flair, the man who's supposed to have all the great class, he just...
Oh, there's a flying crossbody block executed by the Mid-Atlantic heavyweight champion, Angelo Mosca
right
Jr.
But I'll tell you what, Ric Flair, he comes out here, shows his Mid-Atlantic mentality. Come out here and talk about Texans wearing cowboy boots and hats. The new Texans are people like me. And Ric Flair, if you ever want to wrestle Tully Blanchard for the television championship, the contract is there for you.
And we'll be back, fans, right after this.
The greater...
This is Don Kernodle. He is teamed with his partner, Ivan Koloff, the Russian Bear. What a awesome tag team these two make. And, of course, with Gary Hart, as you see on the lower left-hand corner of the screen, as their manager, along with Paul Jones. Gary Hart has got to be right at the top of the list as the most devious managers active today.
That's exactly right, John. But, you know, I'm still a little bit upset with the production right here. They cut me off right in the middle of me talking. And I tell you what, I don't appreciate it. But I tell you what, Ric Flair, just one more thing. Ric Flair, if you want a piece of me, anytime, any place, anywhere, because, brother, I ain't one of these young lions. I've been wrestling a long time.
And now Kernodle and Koloff double teaming Gary Cortinelli. And Koloff and Kernodle, every time I see them, they just have another vicious maneuver that puts usually their opponents away. Week after week, time after time, they have another offensive maneuver in their arsenal that wins matches for them.
Well, Johnny, that's because they feel, I know both of them personally, they feel they're on a mission. And they're on a mission for themselves, and that's to win those World's Tag Team belts. They consider themselves the best tag team in the world today, and they spend time in the gym. And when you spend time in the gym and think of these offensive maneuvers, you're going to win matches, you're going to hurt people. And I tell you what, they do it every week, week in and week out. And the Briscoe brothers had better watch out.
Speaking of offensive maneuvers, that was one we've only seen a couple times, and this one here we've seen quite a few. Look at it, Kernodle almost took a man's head off as he drives Gary Cortinelli down into the mat. And we're going to have a victory right here for Don Kernodle and Ivan Koloff,
right
and
there.
Their manager, Gary
Quick
Hart.
and sweet, and the cannon, nobody comes off the cannon. They don't get out of that one.
They really look vicious on our program today, and they look like they are ready for any top team in the country. Look at this maneuver. Just look at Kernodle, the power behind that. It drives the man's head into the mat. A victory for the Russian Bear and Don Kernodle.
Let's take time out for these commercial messages about the worldwide wrestling events coming up in your area. Optimist Park, Roxborough, North Carolina, Thursday, May the 17th at 8:15. Fans, there's a big card. You want to be on hand. James Wood High School, Ridge Campus, Winchester, Virginia. Saturday, May the 12th at 8:15 with such stars as The Outlaw, Dick Slater, Johnny Weaver, Jay and Mark Youngblood, and many other top stars. Parkview High School Gym, South Hill, Virginia. Monday, May the 7th at 8:15. Ernie Ladd, Don Kernodle, Ivan Koloff, Brian Adidas, Rufus R. Freight Train Jones, Angelo Mosca Jr. and Sr., plus many others will be right there. Super spectacular 8-match card coming to the Roanoke Civic Center. Sunday, May the 13th, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Don Kernodle takes on Mark Youngblood. See the Assassin with Paul Jones against Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Vine. For the TV title, Tully Blanchard defends against the Junkyard Dog. The exotic Adrian Street along with Miss Linda. He'll take on the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. It's $1,000 against $1,000. A match signed as a lights-out match as Ernie Ladd takes on Rufus R. Freight Train Jones. Let's bring in Mark Youngblood, first of all, taking on Don Kernodle.
Don Kernodle, you know, we battled over and over. I know exactly what you're made out of. The pride of the Carolinas, right? Well, you know, you're the mouth of the South is all I'm concerned. Don Kernodle, I know you're strong, you're big, and you're bad. But come in Roanoke, I'm going to show you what the pride's all about. I'm proud to be an American citizen. You're going around saying that you're the partner of Ivan Koloff, you're a Russian citizen, Ivan's a United States citizen. But let me tell you something, Don Kernodle. When we get in that ring, I'm going to show you exactly what a match is all about, Don Kernodle, so come prepared.
Fans, $1,000 against $1,000. Big Cat Ernie Ladd against Rufus R. Freight Train Jones, but it's signed as a lights-out match.
I fool you, Ernie Ladd. I fool you. Yes, I got $1,000 up, but also it's a lot-out match with $1,000. You thought you was slick. You thought you was smart, Ernie Ladd, but I got you where I want you now. Light-out, Ernie Ladd. Your light is going out in Roanoke, Virginia for $1,000.
Fans, you'll see the assassin with Paul Jones take on Jimmy, the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant.
Whoa, Messi, I want my people, Rono. Vote for the Boogeyman. The Boogeyman's running for president of the United States. I mean, vote. It don't matter who you vote for, just so you vote for the Boogeyman. And now, assassin number one, Paul Jones, you're both gone. I hurt you in the cage. And Mr. Assassin number one, I took your mask off. And now, it's you, the last assassin's left. We're going to do it. I want the people to jam one more time. May the 13th at 3 o'clock. And there'll be no more assassins or Paul Jones. Woo! Vote.
If high corner with Rufus, our freight train Jones, and quite an athlete in that ring, and Pistol Pez Whatley, and he's got to be high on the list for the NWA TV title.
Well, I tell you what, that's exactly right. You know, in my opinion, I'd put Pistol Pez down around 3rd or 4th in line for that prestigious belt that I hold. And I'll tell you what, the things in worldwide wrestling, the Mid-Atlantic area, are just bubbling. The talent that's coming in, everything's changing. The new Mid-Atlantic champion, Angelo Mosca Jr., you got the new U.S. heavyweight champion, Ricky Steamboat, come out of retirement. The one thing that stays the same and constant, Tully Blanchard, the NWA television champion.
I guess you'll have that belt around your waist a long time. You never get out of that suit and get in the ring, and here's the Boogie Woogie Man.
Johnny Weaver, you get paid to announce and commentate matches. You don't get paid to try to stick futile digs into me, because I wrestle when I want and how I want, and that's why I'm the champion, and don't you forget it.
And for 10 minutes. And Rufus, our freight train Jones, and we could see him get that freight train going, but Ben Alexander, a real veteran, is really going to stop to it, and Rufus is on the move.
You know, this is what I like to see, a good, clean wrestling match right here on television for the fans at home. All this good scientific wrestling from your friends Rufus R. and Jimmy Boogie Woogie Man Valiant.
Well, this man right here in the ring now, Pistol Pez, a great amateur, the University of Tennessee, and I know that you yourself, down deep in your heart, know that Pez Whatley is really a true wrestler and athlete. And here goes the freight train we mentioned. By the way, and here's Pistol Pez back in the ring. Kurt Von Hess, the recipient right here.
That flying headbutt, that's tough.
Boogie Woogie Man, elbow drop, lateral press, and we have a winner right here, the Boogie Woogie Man. Rufus R. Freight Train Jones and Pez Whatley. 6-man tag team action. And you see that flying headbutt right here, and they go on to take the victory.
And one thing, Johnny, before you interview KERNODLE and Koloff, it only took me 6 minutes to win the belt.
Well, right here is a team that Gary Hart has put together, but these men are no loss for words, and I look like, from the actions that they've had in the ring, you guys are together as a team for a purpose.
This is right, you know. Of course, with the pride of Carolina, Don KERNODLE as my partner, I cannot go wrong. Congratulations is coming in from my country. I talked to Comrade Yoakum from the Defense Department, and he knows. He says to Comrade KERNODLE, the pride of Carolina, he assured me he knows everything about him. He knows more about Comrade than Comrade knows about himself. He go back into his history, and he knows ideal partner for Koloff. We are going to go all the way. World Tag Team Champion. This is our goal. We don't care what team we have to go through, although we know they are tough teams. Wahoo McDaniel, this Brian Adidas, they're a tough team. This what you call it, Boogie Woogie Man and Junkyard Dog. You have Briscoes, Youngblood, you have Moscas. We're not overlooking anybody because we all know they are a tough team, right, Comrade?
That's exactly right. You know, Weaver, I've got a lot of respect for you, and you are a great wrestler, and I don't mind calling you the Dean of Wrestling from now on out. If you don't mind, you mind calling me the Pride of the Carolinas, because that's exactly what I am, and half of the greatest tag team in the world today. You're looking at the other half right here. You know, I hate to be repetitious, but I've been telling a lot of people that we are the greatest tag team. We want the greatest tag teams in the world. We want the Briscoes. We want the Youngbloods. We want Wahoo McDaniels and any partner. We want Boogie Woogie Man. We want everybody, because Koloff and KERNODLE, we thrive on competition. Competition makes us what we are, which is the #1 tag team in the world today. And you know, it's time, Koloff, comrade, to make a few examples around here. We're going to make a few examples around here
And believe me, we want a title shot. And I'm telling you people, it won't be long till you'll see those gold world tag team belts in Comrades and the Pride of Carolina's hands, and you can bank on it. Tell them what you think about the whole situation, Coach.
You know this, Mosca Jr., I'd like to make a little comment about him. First of all, Mosca Jr., you did not take belt away from Koloff, Mid-Atlantic title. You steal belt, just like your father steal Koloff's chain. And you're not going to get away with it. This is Koloff deep down in my heart. And I'm going to do something about it. And with partner like Pride of Carolina at my side, I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about my back or depending on him, because at all times he assured me that he will be by my side and we will eliminate all the different teams to prove we are #1 and take the World Tag Team belt.
That's exactly right. You know, the Carolinians, they're proud people, but I like to say that the Russians, they're very proud people too. And Ivan Koloff has assured me that he'll do anything and everything to work together with me and Mr. Gary Hart to put those World Tag Team belts around the waist of Comrade Koloff and Mr. KERNODLE right here, where they belong. You know, if those belts could speak right now, they'd look at you people and they would look at us and they'd say, you know, Koloff and KERNODLE, the Pride of the Carolinas, they're the greatest team in the world today, and they're the only team worthy enough to carry us around their waist. Koloff, could you add anything to that, please?
There's a lot of people that are very ambitious. You see this past WHATLEY? He come out here, he stick his nose in our business. You see it, Weaver. You see this. He has no right to come out there and intimidate us. And then go out to the ring. Very lucky man that he get away with what he tried to do. He's not in the hospital right now. It's only because he ran away from the ring, just like chicken that he is. He's afraid of the Pride of Carolina and Ivan Koloff, world champion. That's what we're going to do.
To sum it all up, as I said, we're going to be making some examples around here, Koloff and KERNODLE, and before you know it, the World Tag Team Championships will be right here.
You know it, too.
All right, that's all the time we have from beautiful Myrtle Beach. So long till next week.
Worldwide Wrestling has been furnished to this station for